Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about some alarming stuff that I'm seeing at Walmart, hearing from Walmart, and this whole stunt that we saw with the CEO. What exactly is this waste of time fluff piece on GMA all about? Why is the CEO of the largest retailer of the US coming on for a quick fluff piece talking about Thanksgiving dinner prices? Well, I'm going to tell you that. Walmart's a leading indicator of the U.S. economy, and when you see stuff that you see there, it's quite alarming. But I'm going to put all of this together. I'm going to throw some charts and graphs and just let you know what's going on, because steals of deals are on the way, and I'm going to hope that everybody can take part in them, because I sure know I will. But we're going to talk more about this coming up. So I actually wanted to make this video about a week ago, but I wanted more information, and I wanted to frame it properly, and I want to use some charts and graphs, and we're going to get into that, and then at the end I'm going to tell you about the steals and deals and those kinds of things. But I've been talking about clearance for a while, and it's Ollie's. You see these Ollie's deals and great prices. You get clearance at the Targets, clearance at the Walmarts, and I'm not the only person talking about it. Everybody's seeing it, and it's one of those things that you're seeing way faster clearances, and we're going to get into that and what that means. But I did get some inside information from a young lady that was stocking the clearance shelf at a Walmart. Now, this is one Walmart. This is not indicative of all of them, but I'm seeing the exact same pattern in every Walmart that I go into. And what she said was quite alarming. I asked her if there was more in the back, and she said yes. There's 12 pallets in the back. Then I started digging a little bit deeper with her, and basically they have to scan each item, and then they have to print a sticker for each item, and in some cases make a decision if they're going to mark them down more than what it says to mark them down, and some of that needs approval. So there's a lot of time that goes into this. 12 pallets that still need to go on this clearance aisle. Last year, we had the whole garden center full of clearance. They have that much in the back, but they're only allocating this much to it. But why is it that they've held on to product for 2 years? They still have some stuff too. Pull it all off the shelves, stick it in the back for a couple of weeks, and then they finally put it out. And when they do put it out, it's pretty good clearance prices. Before we go a whole lot deeper into this, I do want to point out I found some deals. Here's some Dungeons & Dragons figures for $10 each. I got myself a set, and I was like, wow, I should probably get another set. I came back, and they were sold out like that. They're all gone. They're all gone. $10 is a good price for these. And I gotta say, in the future, we're gonna be looking back going, hey, that was a great price, especially if inflation keeps going the direction it is. Also, I did a report on these. This was about all that was left of those. I think I still have the original picture of them somewhere, not sure, but they were $17, and most of them sold, probably about half of them sold for $17. What was left got marked to $7, and so this wave is a great wave. I don't know how they ended up with 4 or 5 cases at one Walmart, but I couldn't help myself. Had to get another Spirit for $7. This just ticks me off too, because I went on a road trip. I found Batwings for $15. I thought that was good. Got one. Then I found them for $9. I thought that was good. And then I get to this one, and there are $6 Batwings. And this is the thing that I want to point out that's really deceptive to a lot of people. When you go to your local store, you see maybe 8 of them on the shelf at the most. You don't see any on the riser, or maybe there's 2 up on the riser. You don't see that. But then, somehow when they go to clearance, there's like 50 of them. Don't worry, I bought a few of them already. So, I mean, this is crazy how many there were. I had no idea they had this much in the back. And this is showing there's a glut of product at retail. It's not just this one Walmart. I'm seeing it at Walmart all over. I just did a road trip. I see a whole lot of stuff. The problem is it's a whole lot of the same thing. They've got one SKU and 50 of it, and that is a big problem. And we see that over and over, and we see the same stuff clogging up each one of the Walmarts, and they still don't want to. Here's some stuff that they still don't want to clearance out, and it's eventually going to go on clearance. But what does this mean for a broader issue, a broader market issue? Now, Walmart's a company that's the largest retailer in the U.S., and Walmart is a company that does well in the good times, but does really well in the bad times because they position themselves as a low-cost leader, a low-price leader. But if you're already the low price leader and we're going into recession, we're already in a deep recession, if not a depression, but they haven't classified that just yet, and they won't till it's almost over, by the way. This is strange. He goes on GMA and he gives this predetermined speech. I don't know if he made up this speech, his press secretary did. I mean, it felt a lot like a president, like our president talking. He just sat there and gave the canned speech. Michael Strahan asked him a question, and he just gave his same speech as if he wasn't replying to the question. All this is a fluff piece. GMA is literally a fluff show. 12% news, 88% propaganda. Hey, it's okay. It's kind of fun to watch. You just kind of check out. Your brain checks out for a while as you hear them talk about the fluff. But he's sitting here telling us that this is $2 cheaper to buy this. He doesn't talk about shrinkflation. He doesn't say if these boxes, there's less product in it than there were last year, which they probably are. He doesn't say any of that, but he tries to say that this whole bundle of stuff, this exact same stuff, was $2 more expensive last year. So we're seeing prices at Walmart go down, especially because you're using the private labels in there. But this is not a representation of everything that you buy. Okay, first of all, we got to look at GDP. They're coming out talking about how GDP is still up. It's not down. That's how you decide whether you're in a depression or a recession. And they go GDP in dollars. It should be in units or transactions or something along those lines. That's a real world, but it's going in dollars. And as you can see, they still say that we have a positive increase of around 2% of GDP, meaning that we're doing okay. 2.4% in the second quarter of 2023. Of course, they don't have the third quarter information just yet, but they are saying that's on track for being about the same numbers. I don't have a chart of Q3. They're saying it's about the same. They're saying that the consumer is strong and all of this stuff because, well, the consumer is basically tapped out and spending credit. But I'm going to show you how this number is highly manipulated. Number one, you got to look at inflation, and even if you just go with the numbers that they actually give you here, and they give you these numbers, the 6%, if they admit to 6% or 5% or 4%, then you know it's at least 20. The thing is that they do not factor in everything. As you can see right here, core inflation versus headline inflation, they're not counting anything by headline inflation. They always use the core inflation without food and energy. The reason that they say that they don't want to use the food and energy prices, because they say that they fluctuate too much. So with that, we're seeing massive inflation, but they're buying less stuff. You're buying less product, and even if the units are the same, there's shrinkflation. The package is much, much smaller than it was last year and the year before and in 2021. But if you go back to the 80s, we haven't seen this kind of inflation since the 80s. And back in the 80s, they raised interest rates to 16%. Right now, they got them around 5-ish. There's no way they can go to 16% interest rates with $33 trillion in debt, because they wouldn't be able to service that debt, meaning they wouldn't be able to pay the interest on that debt, especially when our government is broke and they have to fight every 3 months to pay the bills to keep the government open, which that's a whole different topic for another day. So in reality, all of those little lines should be facing downward, and we should be on our 5th or 6th quarter of negative, not this fake positive. Inflation is the only thing that's keeping us at a positive GDP. And if we didn't have rampant inflation, if it was in line like it should be, the GDP would be down. But of course, people would argue that inflation is also the tax on the consumer, and it is. It is a tax on the consumer. But what does this mean? What does this even matter? I want to buy my toys. So here is the problem. The problem is that we're going to start seeing foreclosures. We're going to start seeing car repos. We're going to start seeing credit being limited, credit constricting. When we start seeing this credit gridlock happen, we're going to see an almost stopping of the U.S. consumer, because most of the consumers are buying on credit anyway. And so this is a problem, and I got to tell you, the CEO of Walmart sees that. Oh, also, banks, we saw the banks failing. 4 banks have failed this year, and there's at least 100 more that are in the same situation. But you don't hear about that on the news. You hear about foreign skirmishes, you hear about fluff pieces, you hear about climate, but you're not going to hear about your bank failing until you've lost your money and you're hoping that FDIC gives it back. So the strapped consumer is spending about $231 more a month. But if you take into account that all the numbers that were given to you by GMA in this fluff piece, which I don't really know if they even check their numbers, they're saying that based on the 3.75% inflation, and they're paying $235 a month. So the average consumer is spending $6,267 a month. Is that what you spend a month in life? I mean, if you add up all your bills, do they come to $6,267? And are you only spending $235 more a month? It's like I would say that we're probably spending more like about $500 or $600 more a month, but that's just my opinion. See, when it comes to just the basic bills, when you're a collector, most of the time collecting is your biggest bill. If you dumped the collecting aspect or just stopped for a few months, then you would be able to catch up. But then again, you'd miss out on great things. But we're sitting around scratching our head like, oh, how does this not fun? Of course, we're saying people don't want it, or it's going to be poor quality, or I hear a lot of things about this. It's overpriced. Yes, in my opinion, it's overpriced. It's cool. It's interesting. Is it necessary? Maybe not really necessary. This is truly just an extra luxury item. Would be fun to have. I'm sure a lot of people would love to have it. But for $500 and what's all going on right now, you got to stop and think about it for a little bit. It makes it kind of tough. So really, no shocker that this isn't taking off. We got Giant Man that's not funded. Maybe it will, maybe it won't fund. People are upset that they don't get free figures out of the deal. And $200 price point, it's a bare bones offering. You're getting a bare bones offering for the lowest price they can give it to you as a HasLab. The only way to get any cheaper is to have Jakks Pacific come in and make one of those 31-inch figures that they made, or $31 figures they made, and got those out. But those had no articulation, probably nowhere near the quality of this. But am I shilling for this product? No, I'm not buying it at all. I have nothing to do with it. I buy very little Marvel Legends, but I can't help but notice that this isn't getting funded. And Marvel Legends is probably the largest collector group out there, aside from Star Wars, but Star Wars is losing a lot. So what's the solution? All this information, there's got to be some sort of solution. Well, I'm not here to give anyone financial advice. I'm not here to tell you how to collect. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy stuff like I really wanted a Snake Mountain. I feel like they're going to short run this. I made sure I got myself a Snake Mountain right away. And I got other things that I feel like I'm going to get right away. But some of the other things I went through and I canceled the Strike Team, the Cobra Strike Team. I believe that Hasbro Pulse is going to put that on clearance in one of their warehouse sales. I think I've said in a previous video, I canceled a ton of my pre-orders at a lot of places because I think I'm going to see sales. I never bought this ever because I see it in droves everywhere. I'm pretty sure it's going to go on sale. I'll catch this on sale. So I'm looking for catching stuff on sale, but I'm also accepting the fact that I am going to miss out on stuff. I'm going to miss out on a lot, but it's better than paying crazy amounts of money with these really high prices. One thing that happens in a depression/recession is that prices come down. Whether they leave the base price alone and they just sell everything at clearance, I can buy everything at clearance, that's fine. But when it goes to clearance, you generally get it between half and 70% off. That would be pretty awesome to collect that way. But of course, with that, there's going to be figures that slip by you. Just like these, I passed on these. Now they're on Amazon for like $50, and you can get them right now on $50. So go buy both of them for like $108, something like that. And I still haven't pulled the trigger. I still feel like they're going to get cheaper. I probably might miss out on them too, but I think they're kind of cool. I might pick them up. But those kinds of deals, there's going to be steals of deals out there. And we're already seeing it right now. But there's going to be bigger and better steals of deals out there until companies truly cut production, which I think they're in the process of doing. And lastly, I hate to say this, but there's going to be people out there selling their collections at low prices. Not at first. They're going to think they can get what they paid out of it, or maybe make a profit. And then the deeper we get into all this financial mess, the lower those prices are going to go. And I'm seeing this already. This is the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. And at the bottom of whatever happens, at the worst of it, then people will be selling the stuff maybe half of what they paid, 75%. Same as Walmart, same as all that. But the problem with vintage toys is most of the people that already have the common stuff don't want the common stuff. They only want the good stuff, the rare stuff. So all you're really going to be getting for your collection is the rare stuff. People aren't going to understand that. They're going to be wanting to get full price for every single item that they paid for all the way up, and they're not going to understand that only the rare stuff that people want is going to sell. And so when a collection is brought forth, then that's the only value that people are going to see. They're going to see the rarest item, the boxed items, the stuff that is very short run, it's hard to get, and the rest of it is just going to look like freebies thrown in. And that's where we're going to go. And those are the steals of deals that are going to be coming in the future. But if you're smart and savvy, then you can either A, not sell all your toys at 90% off, or B, take advantage of this because, I mean, if they're going to sell them, you might as well buy them. So I hope this video was a little bit helpful on a macro view of what's going on with the economy and what I'm seeing over here, what economists are seeing, what everybody else is seeing. But there's still a lot of fun to be had with this collecting. You just got to be smart with your money. Not everybody can just buy every single thing that comes out and be okay. You got to save that money for the right time, the right deals. And of course, you got to jump on the deals when they're there. You also have to jump, or I'm saying what I'm doing, you got to jump on the items that you think will be hard to get down the road, because with that, you don't want to be paying $100 for a $20 figure on eBay down the road. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Right here, I'm hanging out.